Hello, I am Umbrenero and welcome back to Umbrenero's Life. Today's video is my December 2024 plan with me. So we are on our final monthly spread for 2024 and like I've been doing all year, it is video game related. So I'm kicking it off by doing my monthly calendar because I knew this was going to take up most of the first 2 pages of this month. And one of the things I decided to do is I did not use a black marker for this spread at all because it doesn't fit the game that I am basing this theme off of. So the game I am using for December as my go-to reference is Spirit of the North. It was a game that I played over on my gaming channel, finished it up this year, and I felt this game deserves to be used here. And I wanted to have a very easy layout because I knew this was going to be a very, very busy month and a very, very hectic month. So I did what I could do, and here is my cover page and calendar. I tried to replicate the font from the game the best I could for my title for the month, and then I just used my normal handwriting for the numbers and writing of key. But I kept in the same idea of not using a black marker for any of this. I went and took some of my distress inks and started filling in parts of my page, and a lot of my decorative elements this month were my distress inks because I wanted something that felt more whimsical, I guess, and all of that. So I ended up buying some of these things for makeup and using them to use for my distress ink because they worked very well and gave me a very unique texture, which actually helped quite a bit. So a lot of this game is you're trying to figure out the source of this red area, and that's why it snakes itself through this theme. And the blues, purple, and the green I'll eventually get to are actually very common colors in this game because the northern lights, stuff like that, is very prominent. But I wanted a very quick and simple layout for this month because I knew I was going to be busy and this was the easiest way to go about it. Once I had all my distress ink done, removed the sticky notes, which I did reuse in a few other spots, and I put in my key, which I already had figured out in advance and knew exactly what colors I was going to use. The next part was doing my monthly log. And yes, one of the things that I realized is my distress inks bleed through the pages slightly here, and I'm fine with it. I'm not being perfect, and I am just going with the flow. So I went back in, did more of the font to try to imitate the game's font for my titles here. And I'm still doing the thing where I am not using black markers. And for some of my layouts, I do have this wavy edge, and it was purposefully done because I wanted to have a specific area where certain things would go, and this was the best I could do. But I was reusing the sticky notes I had already started using, and I'm going back in with my red and my dark pink distress inks here to give that little red, smoky, eerie look going across the top of this page. Along the sides, I come back in with a little bit more of the blue, light blue and green, and some of the blue and purple, just to bring in the northern light element as well. And yes, certain colors were a lot more pigmented than others because I have had some of these distress inks for quite a while and they're starting to dry out. But quick layout done. The next section is my goals and things. So, like I did on the previous page, I have that curved line back again. And this time I put my headers in the middle of the page because I wanted it to show that the red, it's not always going to be at the top. It'll be sometimes where you're not expecting it, which is halfway through a page. So I had to figure out the angle here for this section because it was slightly different than the prior page. So just trying to reuse the sticky notes I already had, make them work, and to fill in the gaps the best I could. Which ended up just tracing on another one the shape I needed to cut. So I only did the sticky notes on part of the page at a time because I was just going to flip them, use them on the upper part as well once I was done with the lower bit. Figured that was going to be the easier way to do it than to try to make two boxes all get covered up at once. And yes, sometimes the sticky notes did decide to turn their corners, so I did get in the boxes slightly, but it happens. Can't control it. But then it was flipping everything over to cover up the top and to repeat what I just did. And this is where I really started realizing my red distress ink was really drying out. Like I said, I've had these for quite a while and they've been used a lot. But just like I did on the prior page, had the outline done. So for my weekly logs, I do Sunday to Saturday for my weeks. And I actually found a layout that I liked for this month. And you can obviously see there that the inks did bleed through from the prior page like they did on the other pages, and I'm okay with that. So I drew a box on the top left page, 5 boxes across the middle, and a box on the lower right page for the whole week. So my Sunday and Saturday have horizontal boxes that are a little smaller, and my Monday through Friday have bigger boxes through the week. And I went and did this for every week first before I started decorating and anything, because I wanted to make sure I had these laid out correctly and not as off as I was previous months with some of my weekly logs. Yes, my camera was mad at me while I was doing this because it doesn't like focusing on a single line being done on a white background. But it can deal with it. But in this game, you play as a little fox, and I wanted the fox to eventually come up in the spread, but I wanted it to come up at a time where I felt it actually fit. And really, for me, that is at the very end of my weeklies. So here on the last week, you can see I only have 3 boxes sketched in that I'm finishing drawing in here, because the year ends with a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That entire next page, I ended up putting in my fox. But you'll see that in a bit. First, I had to go back and start putting in my colored elements through my weekly logs. And I didn't want to have to use sticky notes on these ones because I'd been using them a lot, and I wanted this to be more freeform and less controlled. I actually wanted the chaos going through each week. And that's really what I managed to accomplish. So I was going through numbering the days of the week as I was doing each week. And at some point, you will see I did make a mistake. And I don't want to be perfect. And when I realized my mistake, I knew something was not right. Because I decided to keep numbering. Got to last week, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's 31 days. So I had to go back, look, and it's like, oops. So, quick fix. Just write the correct number next to where it should be. So with the fix done, it was to continue my little bit of decoration. And using the open little spaces I left for my northern-ish light feel did help give me the little bit of area to have my controlled chaoticness. And as you see as we go through here, the red is disappearing. Because by the end of the game, the red is mostly gone. And it's just a very good game that I really enjoyed. So I did love doing this spread because it was different. And it is a game that I will definitely replay because it was one of those games that I genuinely enjoyed. So I started doing some more onto the last page here, right where putting in some of the Northern Lights look. But I had to draw and color my fox. I am not the best artist, so I did this the best I could. So I sketched in a little fox that's sitting there, and throughout the game, the fox's tail glows. So I had to give the fox its little color, and instead of doing the normal white tip for a fox, I had to make it glow. But before I could even get to that, I had to color the whole fox in, and that took some time. But using this very light blue, I made the fox's tail glow because throughout the game, that's how you're able to get things done. And I wanted it to be here because it just is a major element of the game. And then, I had to put a couple extra lines in, but that's what it is. In all, I really, really enjoyed how this theme turned out. Yes, it is one of my simpler themes, but with how busy this month is going to be, I needed simple just to help me keep on track and be able to get things done. So, thank you for watching, and until next time, I am Umbrenero. Bye!